Good evening. Welcome to the new party. I'm Nora Christine. I'm about to give a really unpopular opinion, and I'm sure it's going to be especially unpopular amongst women.
I'm Gray Mars. Break a record by being with 100 men in one day. And right after she was done, she recorded a documentary.
I'm a vegan weed. Call yourself fresh and wear the same weak ass turtleneck on every show. Goddamn. Then we got goddamn the Sudanese Sambo. Bruh, man.
And I'm Enzo. Bringing up in my lives is they're like, oh well, he's violating the Constitution by having a meme coin and him making money off it in office and everything like that. I was like, if that was the case, like there would be lawsuits up the ass and impeachment in court.
I'm skeptic. Like I always say, don't let anybody trample on your constitutional rights.
I'm Mia. That's not a correct power dynamic in my mind. Typically, the people that are trying to be removed are not in control. That's why they're easily being removed.
The government, states, they start putting these RICO acts on Diddy, all of these guys, and try to put it on these ongoing criminal organizations. I ain't never seen the government put a RICO act on the KKK.
Switch happened. Come on, man. You gotta acknowledge this. This is the problem that I have with elders like you, because you fail to acknowledge that this stuff has happened.
If we sit there and be old school, we gonna miss the boat. You know, a lot of this kids 19 years old buying houses with Bitcoin, buying Maserati.
Wow.
I think when it comes to the woman, if a man takes charge and he shows that he's logical,
same people. That's number two. That's all theater. This is WWF.
Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this panel show are those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of this channel, its affiliates, sponsors, or production team. This content is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. We encourage respectful dialogue and critical thinking around the topics discussed.
Party. Why I like the new party? Number one, it's a group of people that's on a panel. We all have differences, but we all basically still come together at the end of the day. The new party for me is about unity. The new party for me is about educating people to the truth, letting people know what's been going on in our country. With that being said, shout out to the new party, man. We're gonna keep it going with y'all.
Welcome to the new party. I'm Nora Christine.
I'm Gray Mars.
I'm Kamal.
I'm skeptic.
And I'm Enzo.
And tonight on the new party, we are going to be first discussing what is going on in Washington, D.C. President Trump has announced he's sending troops down there. He said it's due to homelessness. Although DC is not even in the top 10 for homelessness, he said it's due to crime, but their crime rates have improved. Well, some videos have come out already showing what it's like with these troops in DC. Let's watch this clip and we can talk about how we feel about it. This is a clip I found on X. Here we go.
How y'all doing today? Y'all staying in that trouble? You got your ID on you, Chip?
No, I live right here.
Cool.
It's a cigarette. Did y'all get a call or something about right here?
No, so we're doing checks, keep everybody safe down here, right? Have you heard of the federal surge that Donald Trump's putting out?
No.
Right. You don't follow like Code 3, anything like that?
No. All right, so yeah, Trump's got all federal agencies kind of coming together 7 days and going out, trying to stop the violent crime, all kind of stuff. So we're out here contacting people, talking to them, right? Quality of life offenses, smoking, drinking in public, right? Can't happen outside, right? Most people know that. So we're contacting people, trying to advise them of the law so they learn, right? And then if there's other stuff going on where it turns into there's multiple agencies or somebody, there's shooting and things like that. So there's extra hands as well, right? So we're just out here trying to inform people and educate people. It's not like we're trying to just go grab people and ruin someone's life over a joint or something like that, all right?
I only asked because when you walked up, at the moment you walked up, you only had eggs.
Yeah, well, it smelled like the odor of marijuana, burnt marijuana in the air, right? And you're the only guy that had something lit in your hand, and I didn't flash light you, so I didn't realize it was just a cigarette. So that's on me. I appreciate you understanding and not getting chippy. All right, so just know, right? Learn, teach, tell your boys, like, yo, everybody's out, from FBI to park police. Right? So do your thing. Let them know. Don't be smoking outside. Don't be drinking outside. Because Donald Trump is tired of it. People coming to visit.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know smoking in public?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the rest of the
Because in Maryland, it's recreational use, so I didn't know.
Yeah, so DC, it's recreational use as well, right? But you can legally possess up to 2 ounces. You can gift an ounce to your boy, right? So if you had 2 ounces and he said he needed a zip, you can give him a zip, but you can't smoke outside. You don't.
Okay. So let me say this. If they sitting out there smoking in public, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I don't really like that. So I don't know. I guess maybe we do need the feds over there in DC. Gray, what's your thoughts?
Watching that, I always think it's funny because like the cops always speak like the street language, and then like he was talking to street guys, and he like, Trump said to do this because I'm pretty sure he assuming they like Trump because they like street guys. But it reminded me like when I was in high school and like the cop pulled us over to us. He was like, "Oh, what gang you in? What's this, and that?" So I feel like that's like them trying to police the area. Do I think it's right for the federal government to be doing it? Probably not. You probably have a regular traffic cop go in the hood and just patrol stuff. But I read that they arrested some people, so I don't know what was actually going on, but I'll have to look that up to get you the actual numbers.
Man. Kamal, what do you think of that clip? Should bruh been out there smoking? Do you think that they should have went up to him?
Well, first of all, what's good, chat? I see y'all. Daryl was good, bro. Beans in the building was good, brother. And John was good with you, man. I appreciate the compliment and shit like that. I just looked this shit up. Weed is legal in DC. He outside his apartment smoking his weed. You feel me? Look, I'm gonna be real. I think the cop stopped him, smelled the weed, and was like, all right, we about to get them right there. We gonna use the little federal Trump shit. And they took their weed and smoked their shit. That shit legal. I just looked on Perplexity. Weed is legal in DC. And he literally went over there. Yeah, I smelled the weed over there. So, Trump, we trying to stop the crime and violence and shit. Okay? They smoking weed, which is legal in DC. Man, that shit just remind me of Stop and Frisk. That's all I was seeing. Stop and Frisk. Same shit. I'm like, man, that's all I saw at that point. You feel me? But hey, what can I say?
Enzo, what's your thoughts? Do you think that this proves why we need troops on the ground because of all the lawlessness?
So, when it comes down to how the police officers, federal agents, whoever they were, conducted themselves, I will say that's how police should conduct themselves at the end of the day. They walked up there not saying, "Oh, what are you guys doing over here? Everybody up against the wall," a bunch of bullshit. Like I can say from my personal experience growing up, we were just in the vicinity of somebody smoking weed, and cops threw us up against a car, put us in handcuffs, and detained us until they figured out we weren't even smoking weed. Didn't even say anything. They just detained us. So I'm going by on how they acted and everything like that. That's the right way. I don't even think if they really even had weed, they would have made it that big of a problem and arrested them for it. Yeah, weed is legal in DC for recreational use. When it comes down to what Trump is doing with it, I can speak from another personal experience. When I went to DC, DC is it's been a shit show. Like I'm just gonna say it straight up. Like yeah, maybe it's on a decline, but how true are those numbers when Mia sent us over that article of the police chief being had to let go because they were fudging the numbers, and it's well known that all police agencies don't always report violent crime too. So who really knows what the numbers are there? From what I've seen there, obviously the police are not doing a good job. That's why the federal agents and the National Guard is going to have to step in. At least we have somebody who's doing something about crime, regardless if it's on a decline or if it's on a rise. At least you have somebody starting to do something. And this is the nation's
Right.
capital at the end of the day. It should be a model city for all the cities in the United States. Like I want to see what they do here and then roll this out to like New York, LA, Chicago, St. Louis, the cities that are in the top 5 for violent crimes and everything like that. If I saw National Guard troops walking down the streets in New York, I would feel safe. I wouldn't have to bring my own gun with me every single time I go there because I feel unsafe. I'd feel more safe if I saw that.
Mm-hmm. Well, you pivoted right into the right point, and so you brought up Chicago. So we have P. Ray. She is part of Chicago Red. Um, she is running for Congress. So let's all give a big welcome to P. Ray. Hi, P. Ray.
Hi, thank you so much for having me this
For
afternoon.
you.
Thank you so much for coming. So I'm going to play a clip to introduce you on one of the times that you were on Chicago, and then we'll all round robin asking questions. Skeptic will go first. And this is clip, guys. P. Ray has been on Fox News numerous times during the campaign cycle, and here she is talking about the immigration issue in her city.
Right, we are sorry. Please accept our apologies. Please let us join your organization. And I'm like, it's for everybody. Our goal, again, is to get our people away from this culture of liberal failure that's currently bankrupting our city and leaving Americans behind. So it's you have to remember that black people, we've been in this country for a very long time. I'm an 8th generation American. So we understand how our government works very well. And I think that we've figured out that the emperor does not have on any clothes, and we don't want to look at his big ashy butt anymore. We're done.
Take it back. I love it. P. Ray, not everyone seems to agree. Watch this from the same meeting.
This migrant crisis is a resource crisis, and we need vast resources to protect our new community members. 70 million. Hey, you can fight it as much as you want, but it's true. These are our neighbors. These are now a part of our communities. Immigrants are a basis for our future as a city. Ever since the beginning to now, immigrants are the lifeblood of this city, and we need to support them.
You're just not welcoming your new illegal neighbors.
Firstly, that man doesn't represent us. Those blue-haired liberals are not our neighbors. They don't hang out with us. They have not been living in the city as long as we have. And you can hear that we openly booed him. Those people don't represent us, and we wish that they would speak a lot quieter. We're done. Again, they want to dominate the conversation. They believe that they are intellectually superior to us and that we are so pitiful that we need them to come defend us. And we're saying, we don't. Leave us alone. Leave us alone. We are not a pity party. We are not a charity. We are proud Americans, and we want the best for our country, and that does not include subsidizing illegal immigration that was brought to us via the cartel. Absolutely not.
P. Ray, you are a patriot. I love.
So, P. Ray, thank you so much again for coming. Can you start by telling everybody about your race that you're going to be in, and about where you're at with campaigning and all of that?
Sure. I am P. Ray Easley. I am here on the west side of Chicago in the 7th Congressional District, where all roads in America meet in the Chicago Loop. We are a district that has a very high concentration of Black American, what I call American Negro people, specifically the Austin community, which is America's largest American Negro community. There are 85,000 of us there. So there are more people on the west side than there are in most small towns in Mississippi, because everybody left there and came here. I was raised in my congressman's office as the heir apparent, which is why I'm running for Congress. I understand how the federal government works to make life here on the west side of Chicago better. However, I saw that the party was leaving us during the Obama era, and I left. And so here we are trying to get the federal resources that we need in terms of safety, security, and housing that we are entitled to as taxpayers, and get away from sending representatives that are going to represent illegals. None of our representation on any level stood in the well of their legislative body and screamed, they need help on the west side. Please close the border. So because that conversation is not happening, it's time to move on.
Okay. You got your work cut out for you, P. Ray. That's a hard area. I'm
It's
not
not
gonna lie.
really. No, not really. We've never had a Republican like P. Ray. Typically we have Republicans who don't live in the district, or who want to come and tell Black people, you don't have fathers, your lives are terrible. I'm not saying that to my neighbors. I'm not saying that to my family members. I have the most popular Black talk radio political show in the city for 3 years. So popular
Wow.
that the Democratic Party deplatformed me because I was rapidly just hitting people with logic instead of emotion. So I know my people, I know my neighbors, I know what's been wrong with us. We've all watched our district decline our entire lives, and our self-esteem is in a place now where we're ready to find better, because we know that that's what we deserve.
Well, I didn't say hard like as if I think you're going to have like a battle. I definitely think you have a good chance of winning because you've been everywhere. I'm saying hard like there's a lot of problems in Chicago, and Chicago needs to get cleaned up. That's all I meant by that. I do think
Yes.
you have a good chance, P. Ray.
Thank you.
But we are a balance here at the new party. We represent all sides. I'm going to allow Skeptic to go first. She is a Democrat living in Texas. Go ahead, Skeptic. I'll let you ask your question first.
Yeah, I wanted to see where you stand, whether agreeance or disagree with this administration, since we have a Republican president in office as of now. He has advocated and actually has moved to have Confederate general names put back in military bases. He has also moved and has basically taken off pseudofolliculitis, which is PFDB, I think, which mostly affects Black men in the military. So they no longer have a waiver, a medical waiver, to be able to not have to shave their beard fully.
Okay, as far as the Confederate soldiers are concerned, I believe that the Democratic Party is the party of the Confederacy, and that they should be treated as terrorists in this country. Please go ahead. We cannot fly Al-Qaeda flags in the United States of America. Therefore, we should not be flying Confederate flags in the United States of America, because both of those groups declared war against our flag. So I don't agree with that. As far as the skin issue is concerned, I think that people have to go and really talk to the president. He is super, and I'm not here to make excuses for him, because I know Black men. I live with lots of Black men, where I am right now. So I understand like why they need to have this waiver, but I think that there's ignorance going on. So as we have these conversations and make people more educated, then yes, that won't be an issue. But none of that has anything to do directly with the issues that we're dealing with right here in the 2nd Congressional District.
Yeah, that's a good point, P. Ray. I think if he was aware, he might be sympathetic, because Trump sometimes changes on things. I'm going to let the co-founder of the channel, Gray Mars, go next with his next question.
P. Ray, thanks for coming. So President Trump just said in DC that the homeless people need to leave immediately, and Chicago is in the top 15 of like places with a homeless problem. And one of his solutions is jailing them or them paying fines. What is your solution to homelessness in Chicago?
Thank you so much for that question. What got me into this is housing here in the district. The Chicago Housing Authority made a decision in 2000 to demolish 95% of the housing here, which displaced well over 150,000 people. The reason that the projects were demolished was not because of violence, it was because of maintenance. And the federal government gave the Chicago Housing Authority $1 billion to rebuild that housing. However, Rahm Emanuel, who I believe was either special advisor or congressman at the time, both he and Andrew Cuomo, at that time, he was the HUD secretary for the country, they conspired to remove all federal oversight from the Chicago Housing Authority, which has allowed the Chicago Housing Authority to hoard this money, and they currently have 1.8 billion US dollars right now. They are the only agency in the green. They are the only ones who are able to pay off their debts, shore up their pensions. So what I would do as Congresswoman to alleviate this homelessness, because as of now, as in 2025, there are 120,000 Black families currently waiting on the Chicago Housing Authority waiting list. But they did not make the migrants wait one day. They never had to wait for housing. They never had to go on the list. They never had to pull together paperwork. And Chicago has the money to house the people because federal housing money can only be used for citizens. So what I would do is put the federal oversight back over the Chicago Housing Authority so that we can get some shovels in the ground and move our people back home. No offense, but nobody wants to live in Iowa. Our people want to come home.
Thank you.
Thank you, P. Ray. Enzo, I'll let you go next with your question.
So, thank you for coming first off. My question would be is what is the number one problem in your district and how would you go about fixing that?
So, as I stated, the number one issue is housing. And I've spoken about how we are going to fix that because Congressman Davis, who is the current congressman, when I was a child growing up in his office working on federal housing policy, he was on the housing committee. And this is how the Congressional Black Caucus created a initiative called WOW, which stood for With Ownership Wealth, and the goal was to increase Black home ownership by 1 million between 2000 and 2010. When I graduated from high school, I had 500 service hours from specifically working on federal housing policy. So that's issue number one, because anybody who's familiar with Chicago knows that all of our problems, our modern problems, began when they demolished those housing projects. But on a different level, what the city right now, we are a sanctuary city. And according to Time Magazine, there are 3 reasons that we, not only are we a sanctuary city, but we are also the headquarters for the Mexican drug cartels. 95% of the heroin in this country is trafficked right outside this window. And it has created a $1 billion parallel underground economy that has turned our city in some spaces into narco towns. So the first thing that we got to do is get that border secure. That is issue number 2 in the 7th Congressional District, because that open border has not only allowed them to traffic heroin and cocaine out of Chicago, but they're also trafficking people. So now we are the epicenter of human trafficking as well. So that is my main goal. And then to take it a step further, because the 7th Congressional District was flooded with these illegals because the border was open, the federal government has a duty to make us whole as well. And the way that they could do that is by giving contracts to local security companies to help with the ICE operations, since the Chicago Police Department is barred from doing that legislatively. That way we spur entrepreneurship, we have job creation, and we're able to align our goals with the goals of this current administration, which is to send these people home so we can spend American dollars on American people.
Thank you, P. Ray. And save the best for last. Kamal.
Hey, P. Ray, I hope you're doing good. My question is, it might be a 2-part question, but first part of my question is, how do you feel about Black Americans getting cash reparations?
Thank you so much for asking that question. I know the term Black American. I use Negro because Negro is what ties us to this land as non-immigrant people, and that's what's on my parents' birth certificate. The reason that we are going to specifically focus on the Negro is because I push for Jim Crow reparations. With Jim Crow reparations, that was a campaign of state-sponsored domestic terrorism against American citizens who are the Negroes. And the United States government has a fund right now called the Victims of State-Sponsored Terrorism Fund. And that fund pays out a form of reparations to families of victims of state-sponsored terrorism. So what we would do in order for this to happen for ourselves is that we first have to be declared a group. And by a group, I mean a separate tribe, entity, whatever, but we have to delineate federally. Once we delineate federally, we are then able to go before the federal government with all of the evidence of the Jim Crow harm. That was very well documented. The victims of Jim Crow are still alive, and this particular fund not only pays for the victims, but they pay their heirs as well. So the federal government would pay into this fund, and then that fund would give out the reparations for Jim Crow. And when I go on Fox News and I'm talking to white people who are in these different conservative movements, and I talk to them about Jim Crow reparations, I get 100% of the people are on board. They're like, you're absolutely right. We never thought about it like that. The issue that we're dealing with is the remnants of Jim Crow, because after the Civil War, our people were living in high cotton. We still have evidence of that through the HBCUs, through the businesses, through the towns that still exist throughout the South. So the issue was not necessarily coming out of slavery. It was that state-sponsored terrorism that began in the 1880s when President Rutherford B. Hayes removed the troops from the South. So we're going to focus on getting repair for Jim Crow, and it's going to make the country better on every level.
So no to reparations for slavery, but yes to cash reparations for Jim Crow. Is that what I'm hearing? You're muted. You're muted right now.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I shook my head. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. That is an easier sell. We don't, because a lot of times we have this reparations conversation, people will say, well, we don't know who to pay. And the reason that they say that we don't know, excuse me?
I said, I agree.
The reason that they say that we don't know who to pay is because a lot of times when people came over here from Europe, they dropped their last names, they forgot about their old family, they don't talk about the old ties, so they assume that all of us are in this immigrant space and we've cut off our ties to our ancestors. But what makes the Negro unique is that we are from this land very deep, bone and flesh. So it's not a hard or difficult conversation to have. And again, it's an easier sell. If you have somebody in your family, direct descendant, who has Negro on their birth certificate and they were born before the Civil Rights Act, which federally stopped Jim Crow, then you are a victim of Jim Crow and you deserve reparation. It's simple. It's so simple. And I think that if we move the conversation from slavery to Jim Crow, then it will be an easier sell.
I'd rather have both, but
I do too. I mean, let's get that straight too. I want both too. If 2 checks come, I'm gonna get 2 checks. Okay, I'm gonna buy whale. I'm gonna barbecue some whale knuckles with my reparations check, right? But you can do whatever you want. I'm gonna get that same check. I'm gonna get that same check. So if y'all work on the slavery side and y'all are successful, thank you. I push my part on my lane. Thank you. But at the end of the day, we all win because the goal is to get repair from the harms that were caused to our ancestors that are affecting us now.
Okay, and why should we use freedmen? You said American Negro, but would freedmen work for you?
That's fine. Again, freedmen is not on any federal document that I've seen to identify my ancestors, but Negro is. So that's what I use because Black includes immigrants. Black has been tainted. I don't want to be Black anymore. You know, I'm a Black woman, of course, beautiful Black people. But I am a part of an American ethnicity made up of West African, Western European, and Native bloodlines exclusively found in North America in the United States of America. Therefore, the term Negro captures all of that. And again, it's in the federal record. If you got Negro on your birth certificate, you are entitled to Jim Crow reparations. It's simple.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
So
yeah, but the thing I wanted to say, I've done some documentations when they referred to our lineage as freedmen. But you're talking about Jim Crow, though. I get what you're saying. We still need you to shout out for slavery reparations too, P. Ray, because you
Yeah,
about
I
to be a
will. I will. But
congresswoman.
like I said,
You know,
I'm
on the
on what
pink.
I'm on.
You
That's
know
it,
what I mean?
baby. I ain't knocking you. I'm just saying the part, the way that I understand it is how I'm gonna push it. But the people who are pushing for slavery, like I said, I want y'all to win too. My people are from Greenwood, Mississippi, Chula, Mississippi, the poorest town in the poorest state in the United States of America. Chula's whole country is spelled with a T. So I understand, but I also know that I grew up on this west side listening to very horrible, terrible stories about the terrorism that our people were running from in the South. We grew up with that. That's not some foreign concept. That's Alex Haley didn't have to tell me that story because I got it coming up. And that is what we deserve repair for right now at this very moment. In my opinion. I'm not the Grand Poobah, but that's what I believe.
Okay, we have one last question. It's going to come in from Skeptic.
Yeah, I have a quick question. So when you speak on immigration, you say immigrants. Are you talking about legal immigrants or undocumented immigrants when it comes to crime in Chicago?
Illegal. Well, it's the illegals. The illegals shot my very close friend in the chest, minding his own business. The illegals brought measles to the Chicago public schools and made Chicago the epicenter of measles in North America in March of 2023 or March of 2024. They're the ones who are bringing the heroin up here. I've had friends who passed away and overdosed on fentanyl that we know was brought from that southern border because this has been very well researched and documented. So because people want to break into your house and then tear up your stuff and kill your family members, they gotta go. And for those who are listening, that number is 866-DHS-2-ICE, 866-DHS-2-ICE. See something, say something today because the life you save might be your own.
So where can we find the data that you speak on, being that we know that when we speak on the FBA data that they report to us, 80% of fentanyl that is being brought here to America is being brought by US citizens. And when we speak on crime, undocumented immigrants are 2 times less likely to commit a crime than a US citizen.
Well, look it up, honey. Look it up. I'll actually send you the Time Magazine article that completely outlines how the Mexican drug cartel is laundering money and drugs right here off of I-290, which is aptly named the Heroin Highway. And on this heroin highway, because all roads in America lead to Chicago, which is literally the Chicago Loop, this is the best distribution center in the world, right here, the 7th Congressional District. So I'll send you that data, but I want you, if you want to look it up yourself right now, you can look up Mexican drug cart. It's called Why El Chapo Chose Chicago as His Home Turf. Look it up. You'll get the data from there.
Right. I just gave the FBI statistics that they've provided us for undocumented immigrants.
No, I'm giving you the fentanyl statistics and how that's being trafficked right here from Mexico to the west side of Chicago. The DEA has written about this extensively. So again, you can look it up, but when we talk about crime, it doesn't matter if they have less crime than Americans. The fact of the matter is the crime itself is being here illegally. That's crime number one. So when they say they commit less crimes, I don't know how that's gauge or how that's measured, but being in the United States without the proper paperwork is illegal. Working in the United States without the proper paperwork is illegal. Skirting taxes in the United States of America because you don't have a social security number and now you're getting paid under the table in cash, that is illegal. So there are plenty of crimes that they're doing that aren't being recorded. And I think that we have to be very honest with ourselves when we talk about this issue with the illegals, because we know since the 1800s, the ancestors such as Frederick Douglass have been telling us how this immigration issue is detrimental to Negro wealth in this country. And I love my people way more than I can love anybody else. And that's why we're saying it's time for them to pack it up.
All right. Well, P. Ray, we really appreciate you coming. Let everybody know where they could find you. And if you have like a website where they can donate, please let us know that as well.
So you can find me on Twitter or X at Chicago Red P, Chicago Red P. And then you can visit our website at chicagored.org. I'm working on that now to update it. We haven't gotten the campaign stuff together yet. But it's coming. I'm new to this whole scene. Normally, I'm like in the background and helping other people, but now I'm the one doing it. So I'm figuring it out. Pray for us. But again, check out chicagored.org.
Definitely. We will help you in any way. I'll retweet anything. Thank you, P. Ray, for coming on, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you all for the hospitality.
Oh, no problem.
Good night. Well, guys, we're going to start by doing our closing thoughts. I'm going to let ladies go first. Skeptic, you can take it away.
Yeah, to my Latinos in Chicago, I definitely would not vote for her. And I will say that the berets, the brown berets, actually started out of Chicago, and also helped. They basically mimicked the Black Panther movement to help move and march for civil rights. So Latinos have been a part of fighting for civil rights here in America. Mexicans were discriminated against. We were also treated as other. So, to sit there and talk about immigrants as if we commit the majority of the crime is just factually incorrect. You can go to the FBI website and look at convictions here in America. That's how we know who commits crimes. We go by convictions, and the FBI posts this. This is public record. So undocumented immigrants are not more likely to commit a crime than American immigrants. And those that are bringing fentanyl to America, 80% of those that are convicted are American citizens. So if you live in Chicago, be able to look through it and go actually research your facts. That's my closing thoughts.
Oh man, back to school, man. Enzo, what's your closing thoughts?
So closing thoughts was a very different episode. P. Ray, thank you for coming. Absolutely, if I lived in Chicago, you'd have my vote in a heartbeat. I think absolutely everything that you spoke about, that you stand on, is absolutely great, and would be great for your district compared to what we have in Congress already. We need more people like you that hold the same values that you do. Appreciate you coming, and that's all I got.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much, P. Ray, for coming. Kamal, what's your closing thoughts?
Well, first of all, Dan, we ended early. This is a short ass show. Good Lord, what, 35 minutes? Second of all, P. Ray, I followed you and I'm about to message you because I got more questions. I actually have more questions. So I'm undecided on things. You feel me? I feel what the sister was saying with the Jim Crow reparations, but why can't we be like all the other groups and want it all? We could get reparations for that. We could get reparations for slavery. We could get it all. Why not? That's how I feel about it, but I'm glad she came on the platform. Like I said, I have more questions. I followed her, so I'm gonna ask on like the back channels and stuff like that, the other questions I had. Yeah, this short ass episode. Shout out to the chat. I see y'all in the chat. Appreciate y'all. You feel me? I like having these politicians on here and putting their ass on the spot, put them on the hot spot. And like, I think John said it, like, yeah, I get straight to the point when it comes to these politicians. Ain't no goddamn flowery language and or kiki and haha and blah, blah, blah. Now straight to the point. Let's get it. I got questions. I know people that follow me got questions and they want answers from you politicians. We don't want none of that flowery language ass shit. We want straight to the point. All right. With that being said, I got the new party, the channel. I got it in my chat pinned to the top. Y'all go follow them and also hit the notification bell so you know when they go live. And then on my end, Kamal Johnson Network, come over there, sub. Also, hit that notification bell so you know when I go live. And you know what I mean? This was a different ass show. You feel me? We just hop right to the politician, ask the questions. You feel me? And then we had the hey, I ain't gonna lie. I think that cop he allegedly stole that weed. He was, to smoke it. Because he was like, I smell the weed over here. I smell it. I'm like, it's about to happen. Allegedly. I said allegedly, all right?
Oh.
Y'all don't think a cop smoked weed? Come on, it's legal in D.C.
Of course he did.
It
was
very
legendary.
obvious.
Don't they get tested though? Because when you work for the city or you work for like the government, they test you, right? Even if
They get
you're
away with
legal
that
in the
shit.
city.
Now.
My ex-girlfriend's dad was a cop for like 30 years. He would literally take shit off people and do it. Got drug tests all the time. Listen, one thing a cop knows how to do is trick a drug test. They will get away with it.
For real.
That's crazy.
Oh man.
I'm gonna go next, and then Gray will do his. Guys, thank you so much to P Ray. Shout out to P Ray for coming. One thing I can say is P Ray is fighting for her people. I can respect it. I'm with it. Also, hey, Trump says he wants to do DC around the country. Chicago might see the troops coming soon. I think Trump is trying to hold Democratic cities accountable. I think this is chess like Trump always does. And I think he's trying to send warning to the Democratic cities, clean it up, get it together, or I'm sending these troops. So I'm very interested to see what happens with these races in 2026. Is it going to be a blue wave, a red wave? I don't know. Depending on what day, really don't know, because Trump, let me tell you, it is never a boring day with Trump as president. I can just say that. But anyways, we will be back here Thursday night answering, is Tucker Carlson or Nick Fuentes a Fed? That is what everyone is talking about, and we will be back. I'm going to dip out. I'm going to let Gray do his closing thoughts next.
First off, if you're watching right now, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. Interesting episode, like everybody said. P Ray, thank you for coming. I mean, it's interesting every time for me to have any politician but a black Republican. Is definitely interesting. I just want to see if it's really true. If you're really going to do housing, or if Republicans are really going to do the things that they say. That's why I'm Democrat, because I feel like they do more social stuff. But if you win, I hope that you do something about homelessness. We do this every Monday through Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow will be the Man Cave. I don't know exactly what the category or the story will be, but keep watching and we'll keep bringing you great content. And like we always say on the New Party, always vote.